There are 29 different guardian spirits inside of Nioh, including DLC. Guardian spirits are strong and unique creatures that help you throughout your journey. Each one has its own unique stats and playstyles. Each one also comes with a unique attack that can be used with living weapon or special magic. Today I'll show you each one and what their unique attack is. I'll do this by performing the attack 3 times in a row, and show off each and every single one in succession. After using 2 separate spirits, I'll show off their stats. I'll also show off the level of the spirit to make sure you know exactly what the stats are of that level, as each spirit can be upgraded to a certain point. While this video is late into the lifespan of Nioh, I'm creating it because throughout me looking on YouTube I was unable to find any videos that were complete. So let's get into the video. This spirit performs fire damage with a very quick projectile that comes from overhead. This spirit traps opponents inside of a circle while doing continuous damage. This spirit creates a wind tornado that quickly sends your opponent flying upwards. This can be comboed to keep your opponent stunned. This spirit performs a large amount of damage with some earth damage. A mainly charging attack. This spirit can knock opponents down and does a large amount of damage. This spirit, if it hits an opponent through the very first charge, will repeatedly attack over and over inside of an X sigil, using these little teleport gates. You can keep your opponent stunned with this. This spirit lays 3 mines down, also while going and damaging the opponent if they run into him. These are good for causing fire damage. This spirit performs an attack much like the bulls, very quickly rushing forward and doing both normal and wind damage. This unique spirit can do damage if it makes contact with the opponent, but its main use is creating multiple patches of this purple stuff on the ground. If your opponent would walk over it, they are very largely slowed. This spirit comes out and does a basic attack, then performs a fire attack which splits off into 2 more pillars. This spirit goes outwards in an arc, doing damage to anything in their way. This spirit's a bit unique and takes a little while. It creates a bunch of electrical mines that do not do much damage, however very quickly paralyze your opponent to slow their movements. You can use this to give yourself a little bit of an advantage on the battlefield, as it very slightly lowers the time that they can actually attack you. As you can see, they last for quite a while. This spirit, if it makes contact with your opponent, will come down in a giant form, doing large damage and knocking your opponent down. If it does not make contact, it will just kind of bounce around and look cute. This spirit is extremely useful if you wish to survive. It does damage from directly in front of you in kind of an area of effect attack, and it also gives you an incredibly large defense buff. This spirit performs a dive bomb attack before handing out 3 different projectiles downwards. See if we can land the projectiles here. As you see, pure wind damage on the projectiles. One of my personal favorites, Suzaku, will fly around you in circles doing good damage to your opponent and fire damage before coming down in a dive bomb attack and creating a little fire field around you. This spirit's a little hard to land, as it will come out and do some damage on the very startup, but the main amount of damage it performs in an electrical attack that comes out of its mouth much later. Good if you can catch your opponent off guard, almost impossible to land otherwise. This spirit sends out 3 versions of itself very quickly. Hard to dodge, not much damage. This spirit, if it lands, will send your opponent flying up with 4 separate water pillars, 1 around itself, and then 3 more in front of it. This spirit is an incredibly strong one. It will come out in front of you and slam the ground right in front of him, knocking your opponent down and doing a large amount of damage if they've already been knocked down, along with paralysis. Tengen Jaku is a bit of a more interesting one. It performs a small wind blast with a little bit of flinch damage for a small amount of damage. Very simple. However, this spirit also has a very unique aspect to it that can only be accessed while in living weapon mode. As you can see, inside a living weapon, if you were to perform the normal magic attack, it still doesn't have anything past its normal effect. But if you were to activate the effect with the living weapon itself, it changes the element that you are wielding, unlike any other living weapon, allowing you to quickly adapt to the battlefield and use your opponent's weaknesses against them. This spirit is the main spirit of the game, once collected through the end actually. However, this spirit, while doing decent damage after flying behind your opponent, with a small water boost, mostly just gives you 2 buffs. One I don't know the effect of, the other one increases the amrita gauge. Here we are onto the DLC. In the very first DLC, Little Nekomata. He performs 2 basic attacks, and then a lightning very far in front of him. Large damage if he gets lightning, very hard to pull off. This spirit follows you on the ground and lasts for a good long while. It will keep coming out and out, doing basic and earth damage. Useful when surrounded. Also one of the longest animations for anyone, so you can keep it going for a while. Blue Dragon's very unique and has a very special one. he'll fly behind you for a split second before doing a lot of wind damage on the way down. Not much magic on this character, so you can't tell. It won't be able to actually perform the attack until the enemy is directly in front of you, but it will follow you until then, as you can see here. This one, while a little bit hard to see, will charge forward, then go through a portal, and then use the portal to charge back towards you. Having a bit more of an open area here. You can try to race it. It won't go too well. This spirit, while even though its attack looks useless at first, is actually one of the most unique and special ones. I quite enjoy it. It fires 3 projectiles far away from itself, but the projectiles land on the floor and become a damaging water field for anything that decides to go in or near it. Useful for crowd control. Yamako is #1 waifu in this game, but besides being an amazing little hill air fairy, it has one of the coolest special attacks, creating a wind tornado that damages anything that touch it and even flinches them. Best part about this is you can even go inside of it, and if your opponent tries to attack you, that happens. You can also catch your opponent inside of it, which is, well, death. Very useful. Ninetails Fox is the last one of our 29. While having an extremely hard to frickin' land fire attack, it does decent damage with a large amount of range. That's it for all 29 spirits. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully this will allow you to figure out exactly which spirit you're going to be using throughout your playthrough. I'll leave you off on this one last little battle and I'll call it there. Hope you enjoyed.
Oh, that does a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's kind of a Highlanders thing. They have a giant ass stick for a reason.
Alright, kill both of them.
Good fight.
Walker Shoogie Oogie. Show him the power of your Wagga Shoogie Oogie.
Okay. Good fight. I just bonked him on the head.
I'm surprised they didn't get a wow.
Good fight.